We all dream of owning the perfect home, but finding a place that suits both your wallet and your way of life isn't always easy. Well, I have a solution. Stop searching for something to buy and consider somewhere to build. Every year in Britain, 20,000 people build their own home. And we'll be following some of them as they go from foundations to finishing touches. Along the way, our brave self-builders will experience amazing highs.
This is my life at the moment, and it's everything I'm living for.
And some frustrating lows.
It would be absolutely heartbreaking if we did have to sell it.
But if they can overcome these trials and tribulations,
you can actually achieve top-end look for not a colossal amount of money.
they'll end up with the home they've always desired. So if you're looking for your perfect pad, the question is simple. To build or not to build? Coming up, size isn't everything when it comes to an unusual shaped self-build in Brighton.
That's not a building plot.
It's a triangular building plot.
I hope it is triangular.
It gets bigger as you go to the back.
It has to.
Rooms with a view. The new home in Herefordshire with a stunning outlook.
To have this small private space off your bedroom with the views like this, it's lovely.
And when it comes to tiling, I'm showing the teacher a thing or two at building college.
The only thing wrong with it, Paul, is it makes this one next to it look a bit shoddy.
I would do like to be beside the seaside, and today I'm having a peer at a very desirable place to live, Brighton. But the town's popularity means that prime building plots are few and far between. So wannabe self-builders have to be very creative when it comes to finding a site. And that is exactly what lighting designer Jason Thorley was when he spotted a mere sliver of land just a stone's throw from the town centre. With its reputation as a playground for the rich and famous, properties in this Georgian seaside town can command their king's ransom. Jason Thorley and partner Sarah Russell have struggled to get on the property ladder by conventional means, so they decided to swim against the tide and build their own home. Come on you two, you three, sorry Juniper, whose idea was this?
I think most of the ideas came from Jason, as usual.
Well, we'd been looking around for a house in Brighton for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
And we were just sort of looking around for somewhere for the two of us, and then this one popped along. And so suddenly from 1 to 2 bedrooms, our budget was pushed a bit.
A lot of people would say, you know, taking on your own self-build is enough of a challenge. Taking on your own self-build whilst you have a 16-month-old, are you insane?
Not really, no. But I think everything we've done sort of in our lives together has all come at once. So
Yes.
we sort of relish the sort of stress.
And they know all about challenges. Sarah's had to overcome a brain tumour and is now in remission. The couple are now looking forward and are excited about moving to a place they both love.
Because I grew up about 10 miles north of here, and I've always wanted to really kind of to return back here. So yes, it's somewhere we'd like to live.
Okay, so I'm now starting to apportion blame. So it's Jason's fault that you're doing your own self-build, and it's your fault that we're looking in very expensive Brighton.
Yes, I suppose.
So you can shoulder the blame between you, I
can.
guess. And the family have just been given another big reason to get a roof of their own. They're having to leave the flat they are currently renting.
We've just been given notice because the landlord has sold the property. So we've also got to move out anyway.
Ah, right.
So we've also got to find somewhere else to live in the meantime as well now.
I'm getting very impatient to see this site.
Okay.
Should we go and have a nose?
Yes,
Super,
okay.
yes,
Come on,
yeah,
this way. While it's lovely to get a whiff of the salty sea air, the further back from the beach you go, the less expensive property tends to become. And Jason and Sarah have managed to find a plot most people might easily overlook. So a nice kind of traditional Brighton street. Lovely views, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all looking good. But just one problem. We seem to have run out of street.
Yes.
So we didn't pass any plots.
No?
Just round the corner there.
No, it's not. No, that isn't. No, that's not.
This is it.
That's not a building plot.
It's a triangular building plot.
I hope it is triangular
It
because
gets bigger as you go to the back.
it has to. Otherwise, you're building a single kind of garage. You wouldn't even get a single garage on there.
Well, it was a single garage to start off with, but now it's going to be a house.
Jason and Sarah have got big plans for this small site. The 70 square metre plot cost them £78,000 and they've permission to build a 2-bed timber frame house. Jason's worked with an architect to design the triangular shaped home and he's budgeted £82,000 for the build. That's a total of £160,000 all in for a bespoke home and a first foot on the property ladder. With other 2-bedroomed houses in the area costing £200,000 or more, their decision to self-build should mean their little house could deliver large savings. Ah, well.
This is it.
Yeah, it's bigger. Still not that big though, is it? You've got vision.
Yes.
I hope
think that's what you get in Brighton these days. There's not much room left for building, so you have to find what you can where you can.
I know we can make somewhere livable.
It's a difficult plot as well, so I think most developers who are just in it for the bucks as such, you know, probably sort of more inclined to go and find somewhere a bit easier.
Somewhere a bit more sensible, yes, quite. Jason's project managing the 6-month build himself and has been stuck into the work since day one. Using little more than a big hammer, he demolished the existing garage himself, saving the £6,000 he'd been quoted to have it taken down. So, with garage gone, has this changed their perception of this petite plot?
As we've gone on and the buildings come down and we're just left with a plot, it starts to look smaller every day we come. So hopefully we'll turn a corner and it'll start to look bigger again as we start to get the building on. And
I love the way you're both trying to convince yourselves as you say that. It's brilliant.
What we've got here is a bit of free rein to make as much as we can from the space, which hopefully will be a little bit more than otherwise we could afford.
And it's not just me who's a little bit sceptical about what's taking shape here. Daughter Juniper appears to have a few opinions of her own.
She doesn't believe us.
Well, we'll be back. We'll see whether they're right, Juniper. 2 months after my visit, the family have completed the first of their moves. They're now renting a tiny flat just a few doors away from their plot, and it's a perfect dress rehearsal for a small home.
Working in a very small kitchen now with a fridge that door opens the wrong way, so we have to lean over and get the milk, and just not enough space, not enough storage space. It's sort of really brought home to us the things that we need to do in the new house to be able to tackle all these sort of issues of living in a smaller place.
To keep costs down, Jason is busy at the computer working on the house design. Getting a structural engineer friend to help him come up with a steel framework for the foundations has saved him £2,500 before the build's even started.
We've been doing it in our spare time in the evenings, so we've sort of done most of the work down at the pub. But you know, a couple of beers and the sort of grey matter starts to get to work, and I think there was one real tricky bit where we just couldn't figure out what to do, and after the second pint, it sort of clicked and we worked it out.
And there's a few other potential hangovers to clear before Jason and Sarah get going. The cramped nature of the plot means they have to pay special attention to all 3 walls.
We've got sort of 3 troublesome party walls. Along here we have the path and the road. Where we're against the pavement, we've got to deal with highway loads issue, sort of big lorries driving past and that loading being pushed against our boundary walls. So again, we have to make sure we've got a structurally reinforced wall there as well as the back here. So 3 difficult walls.
It's build month 1 and the site is now being levelled in preparation for the concrete base. Jason's hired a digger and together with another friend has started to work on the foundations. After months of poring over his designs, the build is now starting to come to life.
It's been really good. We've been sort of struggling looking at all this thing on the computer and solving all the engineering problems on it, so it's really good to actually get some machinery on site and start really seeing the site that we've got and how much room we've got to play with.
Jason is keen to learn as he goes, but working with heavy equipment in such a confined space has plenty of potential pitfalls, especially for a novice. There's no margin for error, and critically, Jason needs to ensure the foundations of neighbouring properties aren't undermined while digging his own footings.
You can see just over there where we've got the neighbouring house. We've just got to be really careful where we're going up against their wall with the foundations there.
A false move here could cause structural damage to the neighbour's Victorian house, so before taking on any job like this, it pays to make sure you have fully paid up and comprehensive insurance.
Just on the back here, you can sort of see this retaining wall behind where it finishes there, and obviously our finished floor level is a lot lower than where the foundations of that wall are, so we've just got to be really careful.
But being extra careful requires extra time, and it'll take Jason more than a month to prepare the site ready for the foundations and the concrete base. Into build month 3, and the retaining walls along the boundary are now secure. But getting this site ready for the concrete base has meant Jason's been working around the clock, and he's shattered.
Right, we're here with the concrete being poured. Jason's been here virtually all night finishing the steelwork. How do you feel now, Jason?
I'm a happy man.
Good.
It's all finished and concrete's going in.
Good.
I think 5 days solid fixing steel. Underestimated how long it's going to take.
So are you going to...
Bit of a late night last night, but got it finished. So.
It's taken all of Jason's skills to imagine a house in this triangle slot, and so far all his sums seem to be adding up. But while the first phase of their home might seem like child's play, ensuring the timber frame kit he's helped design actually fits in here is a different calculation altogether.
Well, this is the site 2 days before the frame's due to arrive. Jason's just making a few little changes and then we're all ready.
Whether his triangle's a triumph or a designer's disaster will become clear in a matter of days. What makes a great location to build a house? Well, high on many people's lists would be an idyllic spot and gorgeous views. So when our next self-builders stumbled across a rural plot with panoramic vistas, they didn't hesitate to snap it up and build their dream home. It's a view which has inspired some of the country's greatest poets. But looking out of the front of Chris and Jane Clark's fabulous self-built home leaves many visitors simply lost for words. High above the Wye Valley in Herefordshire, in an area of outstanding natural beauty, this was a plot too good to miss.
It was a fantastic site, facing the right direction, over the river valley. It was just, it hit all the right buttons, and I think we knew it was going to be the right place.
With their 3 children having flown the nest, Chris and Jane were looking for somewhere they could let their imagination run free. But more important than the house design was the location.
We ended up paying $170,000 for the plot, which was probably a little bit more than we wanted to in terms of our budget. But it was so right that we thought, well, okay, we'll have to pare the house down a bit and do a bit more work on that.
It wasn't perfect what we built, really. We've made a few mistakes that we've realised later on. But I mean, that's all right, that's practice for the next one, so fine.
In the end, they overspent on both the plot and the house by a total of around £35,000, but say the gain was more than worth the pain. And once inside, it's hard to argue. From the kitchen through to their living room, the house was designed to make the most of the views.
I think what we didn't want was a traditional box, and we wanted something which was going to suit the site and to suit our needs. So we wanted something contemporary, something modern, but not so way out that you couldn't live comfortably in it.
The couple had been looking for the right place to build for 3 years before finding a plot with a dilapidated cottage. Securing permission to demolish was easy enough. The hard part was working out a compromise between what they wanted to build and what was allowed in such a sensitive location. Just over a year after getting planning permission, their 3-bedroom home took shape.
Okay, so we're coming into the sitting room. This is our main living room, and we absolutely enjoy being in here because it's a lovely light room. One of the things we specifically wanted was the height in it, and I think it gives you that airy space. I mean, just to sit here, it's a terrible time waster because you can sit here and you just look out at the view. We like birds, there's a lot of birds around, and you can just sit here, and especially if it's sunny, you get the warmth from the sun even on a cold winter's day, and it's, again, it's just magic. Love it.
This is our main bedroom here. A nice sunny, light and airy room. We also have a little ensuite tucked away in here. Tiny little space, but it does its purpose. One of the things that I was very keen to have when we saw the plot was some sort of balcony up here, because the view is actually absolutely stupendous, and to have this small private space off your bedroom with the views like this, it's lovely to have a summer's breakfast out here, evening drink out here. It's just very, very peaceful.
It took Chris and Jane 5 years to take their dream of self-building from the idea stage to completion, but it's been well worth the time they've invested. The total project cost was £335,000, but the house is now worth in excess of £400,000. So that means they're at least 65 grand to the good. But it's all academic when you've got priceless views from every room in the house.
We are tremendously lucky. One of the things I think really that you have to be so careful of is to find a plot that is actually perfect for you. Do your homework and keep looking. Don't give up, because somewhere out there the plot is for you.
In the seaside streets of Brighton, Jason and Sarah's self-build project is really starting to rock. It's build month 4 and the timber frame for their triangular home has begun to arrive. Over the next couple of days, Jason's DIY design will be put to the test. If any of his calculations are wrong, the frame might not fit, and that would be disastrous.
With a timber frame, we've got to be so accurate with the levels of our slab and also the layout of the brick coursing that it's all going to sit on. With a triangular house, it all gets a bit more difficult.
Jason needn't have worried about his design as the ground and first floors go up without a hitch. But he's been used to doing everything himself, and watching on the sidelines with baby Juniper doesn't come easy.
Is that your house going on? So they've got to pick up a big bit of roof, and then he's going to lift it up and drop it onto the top. And that's going to make Mummy and Daddy's bedroom. And hopefully they won't drop it, because it will go bang.
Jason's nerves are well founded. Getting the flat roof on is a crucial stage of the build.
And that's going right at the front.
Manoeuvring these huge blocks in such a confined space takes plenty of concentration. But eventually, after an afternoon's anxious wait, all the roof panels are given the thumbs up.
It's all coming together now. It's after sort of the last good few months of hard work to see that all go on top now and fit and sort of nearly be finished off. It's quite satisfying.
Yeah.
It's just a bit daunting now for all the rest of the work that's got to be done.
With the major structural work completed, the rest of this phase of the build should go up within a week. Now comes the serious issue of how to keep their finances on track.
Outgoings on a month basis now are quite a lot higher than they were when we just started, so that's the thing that's really going to start to drive us to sort of get things going now. The longer we take, the more money we spend, basically. Yeah.
It's now build month 5, and after the euphoria of seeing their timber frame quickly take shape, there's a big blow. A prolonged period of heavy rain has delayed finishing off the flat roof, and there's little work Jason can do inside either.
We've got to this stage where the timber frame went up, and then dawns on me how much more work we've got to do, and the weather ever since the timber frame goes up has just been raining, which We need to get the roof covering on, and until we get that on we can't do any more work inside, so we're just waiting for a gap in the weather at the moment.
Crucial to this build are the two pyramid-shaped skylights, which will help bring floods of light in from the roof. And in another bright spark of inspiration, he's asked his stepfather to carry out the welding. Doing all this themselves is saving a handy £6,000. I'm keen to see how all their triangular tribulations are working out, so it's about time I paid them a visit. I just hope I can remember how to find them. Well, there were those who were sceptical about whether you could fit a house on this teeny tiny piece of land. But there you go. Incredible. So, are you surprised at kind of the size of the rooms? Are they bigger? Are they smaller? You know, what's your feeling now it's three-dimensional?
Yeah, it seems bigger than we thought it was going to be, actually. Yeah, we're quite pleased with the size.
That's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, the back room's main living space is great size, really pleased with that, but it's going to be a great space, can't wait to get in there.
That's this way, yeah?
Yes.
It's going to be a gorgeous bright space, isn't it? Two big windows there, big opening there, and your roof light.
One of the ways we're heating the space as well, we need as much sun to come into it as possible. So having these skylights and those big windows is going to catch all that in the morning, and then as the sun works round, we get it coming in this corner of the patio here in the afternoon.
Inside, the house is a bit like Doctor Who's TARDIS. It seems to be able to bend space in the same way.
The size of it's just changed all the time. You start off with a site and then dig a big hole in it and it's suddenly, you know, twice as big. Then this big mass of concrete goes in and shrinks again. And then you put brick out the walls for the timber frame to sit on, shrinks again. And then the timber frame goes up and suddenly it's massive. So yeah, we're really pleased with the way it's turned out, actually.
A triangle at the bottom, it's more like a pyramid at the top where the house narrows into one room. It's not the biggest upstairs in the world, but it's perfectly formed.
It's only one room.
Yeah. It's massive for you, isn't it, Juniper? It's enormous. If only we were all that size. And I presume behind us is the
That's
ensuite?
right. Yeah, we're just going to have a bath in there.
We're not going to have a wall, though.
So it's going to be more of a hotel ensuite. So,
all this fashionable, trendy bath in the bedroom living, is it?
Something like that, yeah. And also just to maximise the space as much as we can.
And it's up here where the value of Jason's skylights should start to shine.
It's been one of the nice things about this build, being able to put those skylights in. It was something we were a bit concerned about budget-wise, but we've had a bit of family help and we've brought in the materials and welded them up ourselves. So the first few nights it's going to be a bit worrying looking up at them with all the glass in there, hoping that they're going to be strong enough. But
don't be saying that!
I've planned it all out and calculated it all on the computer, and computer says yes, so hopefully it'll be okay. Yeah.
And just a small matter of how you get them up there, how are you going to do that?
Well, friends and a bit of elbow grease, I think. We'll get together one weekend with some ropes and try and get them up there.
You do look very relaxed. I mean, you're a very calming influence.
Sometimes, yeah.
She is. I come into the house sort of shouting and screaming sometimes, and Sarah's always there sort of taking it easy and sort of just telling me to calm down. So yeah, it's a good pairing.
Whatever the stresses, the prospect of soon escaping their tiny rented flat keeps driving Jason and Sarah on. You literally started out the smallest build, certainly, that we've come across, and yet it's going to be bigger than where you are now.
Yeah.
Very crafty. I like what you've done there.
Yeah.
The expectations can only go up.
Definitely, yeah.
A week after my visit, and it's time for Jason to get his feature skylights up onto the roof. At 14 stone each, they're very heavy, and hauling them up high is definitely going to be tricky. It's time to rustle up a few helping hands.
Okay, got the skylights painted up now, all frames. 3 or 4 good coats, primer on them, ready to go up. So just getting the ganglers together today to try and lift them up through the hole and onto the roof.
And after Juniper has given them a few finishing touches,
Daddy painted.
It's time to reach for the sky.
So here we have the first skylight frame connected up, ready to go up through the hole. Theoretically it will fit, but we'll see shortly if it will.
It might have taken thousands of builders hundreds of years to erect the Great Pyramids of Egypt, but with a fair old heave of the rope, Jason's versions soon get hauled up onto the roof. It's the moment of truth. Carefully, the gang manoeuvre a skylight into place. And with a bit of jiggery-pokery...
Well done, guys. Thanks very much.
It turns out to be a perfect fit. It's build month 7, and Jason and Sarah are a month over their optimistic build target of 6 months, and they're nowhere near completion. And there's another problem that's been a knock to their morale. With no windows yet, the house isn't completely secure, and it's been a target for thieves. First, a generator was stolen, and just as they were about to put their front door on, a box with its hinges and some of Jason's favourite tools have been taken.
It's definitely something you don't put down or you budget for. Luckily, we've never kept too many expensive things on site. In that respect, financially it hasn't hit us too much, but it's personal things that really annoyed me. I had a very trusty old 80-year-old wooden-handled hammer that it was my hammer and I'd got used to it. It's worth nothing to anybody, but that went. There's no logic to what they come in and take, and yet it's those sort of personal items that hit you the hardest.
Unsecured building sites are notorious for pilfering, and if you have to leave valuable materials or equipment on site, it's worth considering investing in some sort of robust security. With the door now on, Jason and Sarah can start moving forward, working inside with much more confidence.
Having the door on is a good bonus because we feel now it's sort of...
Yeah, because we've got windows all in as well, and the patio doors which we can lock.
It's good being able to leave tools in the house, being able to start putting things like wiring and plumbing in without thinking it can go and get nicked again. It feels more like a secure house now rather than just an open building site, which it was before.
If you're self-building, then being a dab hand at DIY is a good way to save money. But you definitely need the know-how, so I'm taking a crash course of classes at Building College. Today, I'm after some top tips from tiling teacher Paul Anderson.
You're going to challenge me today?
Yep, going to have a go at cutting round a soil pipe and a little bit round the socket.
Okay, yeah, because this is where tiling all of a sudden becomes...
slow. It's a little bit like a jigsaw and a little bit of dot to dot.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I'm more of a crossword man myself.
We want to cut this little bit out.
Yeah. First, we need to find the exact points on the tiles where we plan to cut. By using the second tile already fixed to the wall, it's possible to work this out accurately.
Put that up against that one. Zoom again.
I'm most intrigued to see how we'll draw the exact curve of the soil pipe on the tile.
We've done the jigsaw bit.
Yeah.
Now we've got to do the dot to dot bit.
Right.
Okay.
I'm guessing some high-tech tiling gizmo.
So the best way to get this curve identical to that soil pipe
is
to carry a spare piece in your toolbox.
You're serious as well, aren't you?
I certainly am.
Once the line is drawn, we're using the tile cutter to scribe over it. This weakens the tile, making it easier to cut, and Paul makes scribing look pretty simple.
Like so.
But this tool can't cut awkward shapes, so you need the trusty tile pincers.
Good. Just taking a little bit of excess off.
Well, you got lucky this time. That's absolutely perfect.
It's not far off, is it?
Now it's my turn, and even the measuring doesn't seem so straightforward now.
That's not right.
You're not good at jigsaws, are you?
The drawing's a bit trickier than it looked before.
I knew that didn't look right.
And as for scribing...
I like the sliding thing, but I'm all over the place here.
But when it comes to cutting, just call me Prince of the Pincers.
It's not bad, is that?
Hey, that's not bad at all, that. Whether it fits or not, it's a lovely curve. I don't care if it fits. Only 3 words needed. Like a glove.
The only thing wrong with it, Paul, is it makes this one next to it look a bit shoddy.
I think I might have pushed my luck a bit. Paul's getting all competitive on me. What's next then?
Just going to cut round an electrical box, but I think we should have a little bit of a race for this one.
Oh yeah. Only you can lose here, you know that, don't you? Amateur versus professional. Who will lose?
Oh, I hope I don't.
You won't be able to come in tomorrow if you do.
Ready, steady, go.
So the race is on. You better do less talking and more cutting, mate. I'm sensing a David and Goliath moment.
Sorry, Paul. As a true professional, I won't rise to that.
Sorry, mate. But my pincer movements are going downhill rapidly. Ah, broke again! I'm going off tiling. So Paul saves some face.
Let's have a look. Oh, yes.
All right. Well, it wouldn't have been fair to show him up again, would it? Was it was haste really, wasn't it?
Just a little bit of haste.
Just rushing at it.
Yeah, just got to take your time when you get to edges.
All right, so the professional of many years won this challenge, but I'm still feeling pretty confident about this, so I think I'm ready for the bathroom, you know?
Okay, so I'll look at this basin.
Yep.
Well, I guess you'd have to find a battening point at the bottom there for the hole bits, come across measuring out so that you know where the edge of your sink is, possibly make some templates and then just scribe and nip away, really. I think so, yeah.
Fine. I'd just take the basin out, to be honest.
Ever left with that sinking feeling? Back in Brighton, it's build month 7, and Jason and Sarah's home is taking shape, and it's unmistakably triangular. From the angles of the walls to the shapes on the roof, the distinctive 3-sided plot is reflected in every aspect of this build. And now they're up, Jason's custom-made skylights have got the couple seeing stars in their eyes.
The way the skylights are formed, they're just going to be really integral into the whole design of getting natural light into the space. And also, I mean, it's just great to look up and see the sky in such a small, little, tight, compact site.
Yeah, we haven't got much of a patio outside those doors, but we've got lots of sky to make up for it.
The priority now is to get the glass in them so the whole house is watertight.
Right, skylight glass here, so I'm going to try and get the upstairs skylight glazed today and try and get this house watertight.
Carefully, Jason guides each pane into place, and with the sealing of the skylights, all the glass and doors are now installed. The house is finally secure. But while these skylights make the house special, Jason has discovered they've also exposed a major flaw. Glazed, they now weigh 3/4 of a ton, and this has meant using stronger, bigger roof beams. But by doing so, Jason realises he needs to raise the roof slightly to accommodate the insulation. It's another hold-up, and until the roof is made waterproof, they won't be able to borrow the money to finish inside.
Hopefully we'll get the roof sorted out in the next week or so, and then we'll get that next payment through, and we can really start working on getting the floor screeded, getting the plasterboard up, and then doing all the nice stuff like the kitchens and the bathrooms.
It's now build month 9, and with the delays and extra work adding to the budget, Jason once again rolls up his sleeves to save some money. By digging a trench to the pavement to allow electricity to his home, he saves around £2,000 on what it would have cost him had contractors done it instead. Inside, the quirky layout of the house is also adding to the complications with the wiring.
can never build a triangular house. All the joists are all going at different directions all around the room. So you're always trying to have to find little ways in and out and think a bit like a ferret. As well as a bit of a learning curve mentally, I think physically there's been a bit of a learning curve. For the past month, I'd say I've been pretty much full-time on this job and part-time on my day job. The first few weeks I did ache, and it's slowly getting a bit nicer now and a bit more bearable, but it's a change from sitting around doing computer work every day to actually doing sort of physical work, being on your feet all day, lifting. It's nice to get your hands on proper bits of wood and real things instead of just imagining it all on a computer.
Slowly but surely, this labour of love is starting to get under his skin. The house is taking on a real personality of its own.
When we took on this project, it was very much sort of a bit of a stepping stone, get on the housing ladder, get a bit of money behind us as well. So maybe when we want to move in sort of 3 or 4 years' time, we've got a bit of money behind us, and but we were thinking that now we've put all this work into it, it'd be a bit sad to actually sell it. So we're either going to live here the majority of our lives, or it'd be nice to try and keep hold of it and rent it out if we ever do move. But yeah, we'll see what happens when that day comes.
It's build month 11 and this tiny plot is starting to look like an even tighter fit. That's because Sarah has some very big news.
Hey, they sleep. No, they're woken up now. It's morning time. I found out that I'm pregnant again, so we're going to be a bedroom short. We weren't really expecting to have a new little one and moving into a house sort of all happen at the same time. But I'm sure we'll get by.
But the couple's exciting news puts extra pressure on Jason to get the house completed.
We'd always wanted another one. We probably would have liked maybe a year or so in the new house, just to sort of have a bit of a rest before we started having sleepless nights and dirty nappies again, but you can't plan these things too finely. So with the other one on the way as well now, it's a bit more incentive to dig my heels in and get it finished on time.
Jason and Sarah have set themselves a deadline of just 2 months to get their own house ready to move into and have given notice to leave their cramped flat. The stakes for this self-build really couldn't get much higher. But 2 months later, the family's life is turned upside down. Sarah's been in remission for 7 years, but new tumours have developed. The seriousness of her condition meant that the baby had to be delivered prematurely. Baby Leo arrived 2 months early, weighing in at just 4 pounds. Amazingly, throughout this traumatic time, Jason has been determined to get the family home finished for when both Sarah and Leo are allowed to leave hospital. 16 months into the build, I've come back to Brighton to meet up with Jason. Sarah's condition has stabilised, but she's not feeling well enough to be filmed. It's hard to imagine what everybody involved in this build has been through in the last few months, but what's here is testament to Jason's incredible dedication to get this project finished for his family. And what a job he's done virtually single-handedly. From the all-in-one kitchen and living area through to the bedrooms and bathrooms, it's a stunning achievement. And it seems Juniper and little brother Leo are settling in nicely too.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
The house has appeared.
Nearly, yes. Yeah, we're just about there.
It looks absolutely fantastic from outside.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it, actually.
It might be a trick of the eye, but this small home seems surprisingly roomy.
There we go.
Fantastic space. Do you know what I'm starting to think? Why aren't all houses triangular? It just works somehow.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it's, you can get nice divisions of space. And I suppose in the kitchen they always talk about your triangular workspace and everything.
Absolutely. And this, another triangle, works fabulously because it kind of feeds you into the living area and it's a usable workspace. It does. And this, again, the skylight here just bleeds light in.
It's brilliant. I mean, if it wasn't there, this plot would be a really, or this building would be a really dark space.
Upstairs, the master bedroom also benefits from another huge skylight and comes complete with views over the city. When it comes to hair room, Juniper's got more than enough space.
Moo, moo. And it says oink, oink, oink.
And while there are still a few small jobs left to do, it seems all the gruelling hours of hard work have paid off when it comes to the finances. The total overall cost of the build, including the plot, came in on budget at £160,000. With other two-bed homes on the street on the market for around £240,000, that's a significant saving. Importantly for Jason, building the family home has helped him cope with the recent stressful events.
I can't say it's been easy, but if anything, this house has sort of been my escape from it all. You know, I've been able to come here and put some work in, and it's always been something that I've been in control of, where everything here and everything else around me has been out of control. This has sort of been the thing that I can go back to and is a bit grounded. So. And also, I mean, it's been something that me and Sarah have been working towards for the kids and for us for so long, but we've never really wanted to sort of let any of Sarah's illness or anything else get in the way of that. So that's really sort of, you know, we've stuck at it really because of that, and we've ended up with a really nice house for us to all be in and watch a family grow up in. So
that's amazing. Yeah. Of all the builds I've seen, factoring in all the details, factoring in all the bits and pieces that have gone with your story, from the size of the plot through your traumatic few months and your limited budget, I think this is an incredible build.
Thank you.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah. Just as a little memento of the experience of being on to build or not to build.
Well, no, that's brilliant. So there you go. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just of your time involved in the whole thing.
Excellent.
Different stages. Listen, mate, just absolutely incredible, and I hope that you and your family, you know, will be happy here for many years to come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.